Okay, let's take two. How to make the most of your holiday, well, your half start. First of all, happy holidays. New Year's Eve is tomorrow, so happy New Year's if you're celebrating. If you're not celebrating, it's all good. There's lots of people just chilling and making it nice. So, what I want to do with you today is take you through a fun process to see your half-start watercoloring book to its ultimate vision. So here is a half-start that I've been using in these YouTube tutorials that I have listed here in this playlist. So a half-start watercoloring book is available on my Etsy site. And what it is, it's a handmade watercoloring book by me. It includes a front and back cover, which are both original pieces of art that I have made, a white matting and cellophane bag in case you want to frame one of these, or if you happen to end up liking something from your own work, absolutely frame it. So the half starts all come with 7 pages of pre-inked art. So in this case, this one had some spirograph on it. You can see I've used some watercolor and some metallic gold pens. This one is a combination of watercolor and acrylic. Same thing, watercolor, acrylic. So they were all just like the ones you see on my Etsy, half-started. In this case, it was just the face and the outline of the cat. And then, as you might have noticed in the playlist, I took you through the video of different ways to embellish your half-start coloring books. Because it's such a heavy, good quality paper, you can do wet-on-wet watercolor on it. You can do matte medium collage, which is the sheet music and other elements here. You can varnish it at the end. I mean, this paper is 140 heat press, so it's smooth, easy to work with any kind of media. Here I've done glitter, I've varnished this page. There's watercolor as well as acrylic paint and collage. So I definitely feel I have maxed out my half-start coloring book, and I really hope if you've bought one that you do too, and don't just stick with like your traditional coloring book where we're coloring in the lines. I want you to keep coloring. So in that vein, what I'm going to do today will probably freak you out. Don't freak out too hardcore. If you don't want to do it yet, you don't have to, but my half-start coloring book is ready for the ultimate expression, and that is 3-dimensional. So one of the things I enjoy making, and I don't always do very often, is dioramas. I am an educational assistant here in Manitoba, and one of the things that I look forward to seeing and definitely don't get disappointed on is diorama projects. So it's always a good part of the social studies classroom environment. So in this case here, I have a house diorama that I had made. I don't want to take the camera off the tripod because it was such a challenge to get it on there. So you can see it, there you go. So the house is 1-dimensional or 2-dimensional, it's just paper. I've created a little bolster here so that it sits upright when you're laying it flat on the table, and I really wanted to have fun sort of drawing the background forward by adding some clouds. And the fun thing about dioramas, especially at the holidays, is that they're easy to put away. So, and they lay flat, and if you haven't, you can make yourself a little envelope, slide it in. Ta-da. So here is a smaller version that I had some fun with. It's one of my, it's a painted camera. So I had that on there, and I thought, how fun would it be to take these 2 items and combine them. So the first thing you want to do is take your rectangle 9x12 and make it as square as possible. I'm doing it, and the other thing you need to take note of is what you want. So in this case, I want the fairy sort of reaching out to the person sitting here. She'll stay. Odds are that she's going to get folded into the background in some way. So you want to think about where you're going to make your cut, okay? And I have decided to make it over here. So first things first, I'm going to cut off the excess that makes it a rectangle and take it to a square. Yes, I'm using old hairdressing scissors for this. And this would be great for bookmarks or other projects. I actually have quite a stack happening right now of little edges that I'm trying to think of a fun thing to do with. There is a class from Amanda Evanston called Scrappy Maps that could be a lot of fun. It's more of a shadow box style. So here we have it. And after you make that first initial squaring, it's not so terrifying. All right, so we're gonna continue to make our folds. That way we know where to cut. If you're worried about using your half-start watercoloring journal for this, you could always practice on something less precious, but definitely practice on something that's painted, because folding painted paper is very different. So here we have it. So I'm going to cut. Fingers crossed. If I ruin it, I ruin it. Hooray, I did it live. But this is the fun. No biscuit, no biscuit. Ah, see? Isn't that great? There she is, the fairy state. So in the background here, we have the golden hair of the Rapunzel-like character, the Sleeping Beauty. You can see the shimmer there. Is now the base. You could also flip that and keep the bluer side of the fairy as the base, which I kind of like as well. And I mean, what's fun for me as the artist is I know that this was a collage piece that I had put on from something else. There. So ta-da, we have the basic of our diorama. Simple, simple. Oh my goodness. My phone rang. It's not a number I recognize. My apologies. Of course. Now I've got to get this thing. All right. Never going to get it back on the tripod. So here is the diorama. So now what are we going to put in it? My thought was to cut out some of this and put it into the forefront of this piece. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start and just show you a few ways to do it, and then I will stop the video just in case the phone rings again, but it'll give you enough ideas that if you have a half start at home, and you know what, you can also just DM me and I'd happily explain it to you one-on-one. But whoop. There we go. Okay. Got it back on the tripod, people. Bear with me. Okay, so there is our diorama shape, and we want to cut out some of our geometric shapes from inside of here to add in. I find coloring books and collage really lend themselves well to each other. Alright, so to embellish the diorama, you can pursue a couple of options. One option is to mount it with a piece of soft foam core, whichever items you get, and you could actually have it, this kind of looks like an angelfish shape in a weird way, 3D popping off the back, or you can, give me a second to find some. This isn't exactly a good example, but it's for floral work, but you could also take wire on the back of them and have them anchored in the front. So I will show you both. 1 second to make sure the glue gun is still there, which it's not. I'm just plugging in my glue gun. There we go. And there we go. I'm going to reinforce the backs with two-sided tape and some wire, just so that the diorama, if you're flipping, pardon my reaching noises, flipping it up and down, it holds its shape longer than it would if you weren't going to reinforce it. So we're just gonna kind of create a little garden of sacred geometry style flowers in the diorama. So also my I Wonder collection, EYE, goes live tomorrow, New Year's Eve at midnight. So if you are looking for a new piece of art and you want something original that nobody else has, you want to buy local or Canadian, check out and follow my Etsy account. If you follow it, I believe you can adjust your email notifications through Etsy and make sure that you receive notifications for when my listings go up, because that is really the fastest way to know when my updates occur, is to follow through Etsy, because it will email you faster than I can. All right, so the secret to anchoring your, sorry, I'm talking while I'm looking for the hole punch diorama while you're working is to hole punch a corner and slide in one of these handy dandy brass fasteners. They're very inexpensive, can never be without. There we go. So we're working, created a little wire backing. Just got to decide how I want to display this flower. I don't think I mind if it's kind of visible. All right. Easy peasy. So I went and stocked up on two-sided tape at the hardware store. They sell it in the section for window treatment kits where you need, I live in Manitoba, so it's -40 today. Don't even want to breathe outside. But often windows are just not sufficiently insulated, so you need to get plastic to shrink wrap over the top of the glass, and then you need two-sided tape for that. So it's good quality two-sided tape. It's very sturdy. It's meant to hold up to the pop that happens when you blow dry the two-sided tape tight on your windowsill. So it'll handle art. And it's probably cheaper than buying it from an art supply store. So sky's the limit when it comes to being creative with your half starts. And that's all I've kind of wanted to generate for you today, is some other options that you may not have considered. And the nice thing about placing these here as I'm doing is that when you want to roll it up flat, you can unbend the shape or bend it back in, whatever way proves most useful for putting away, and it will be able to be reformed back up when you're done. So I'm going to put this down like so with the tape. I'm leaving the backing on the front of it because I don't want it to stick to things. Now, I'm not going to leave this bare on the bottom. I am going to go in with some kind of piece of other paper that will fit into the background to cover up that tape bottom. So yeah, if you want to see the final result, head over to @MayaPaints on Instagram. That's where I'll share the results of my half start diorama. If you have any questions about your half start, please don't be shy. You can email me at maya.larson@yahoo.ca. You can DM me through Instagram. You can comment on my videos, and I am always happy to point you in the right direction. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's, and thanks again for joining me.